One of the questions that always comes up with people, especially people who are not alcoholics and addicts themselves, and they say, why do some people become addicted and others don't? And the three major reasons that they've come forth with is that one is genetic in many cases, that you're born with the genes. In my particular case, I was born, my two parents were both alcoholics, so I was a thoroughbred. And the second, but that's something nobody has any control over. If you got the genes, you got the genes. The second area is the environment that you grow up in. From the time you're a little kid, you come onto this face of this earth, you experience things, and your brain takes in all kinds of information and experiences, and it forms who your personality is. It forms how you feel about yourself. And in many cases, if it's a disruptive, dysfunctional family, for example, maybe there's violence, maybe there's a lot of negative things going on. If you have friends who make fun of you, things that would give you low self-esteem, things that would make you afraid, then when the time comes and you take the chemical and put it in your system, the alcohol or the drugs, and you find this terrific release, then all of a sudden you're off because you found something that can change the feelings. Now, one of the things that I did as a counselor was I would have maybe a husband and a wife in there, and the husband would be the alcoholic, and the wife would be in there and saying, I don't understand why he just can't have one or two. And I always had a card, and on that card I'd say to her, why don't you get drunk when you drink? Oh, I just don't drink. Well, why not? What happens? And the answer 99% of the time was one of two things. I either feel sick after 2 or 3 drinks and I can't have any more, or after I have a couple of drinks, I feel like I'm losing control and I don't like that feeling. And I would always then go and talk to my brother alcoholic and say, and what happens to you? Knowing what the answer was going to be, I love it. It feels like I'm getting control. You know, I really like the feeling. I need more. I don't need less. And that's one of the major differences. And the other area that we have to really worry about is kids not getting started too young, because the brain around your teenage years is really beginning to form. It's wide open at that point. And if you start putting drugs and alcohol in there, it'll respond to them much more than it would later in life. It's fresh at that point. It's like a dry sponge that's waiting to be get something put in it. So we try to keep the kids, because if kids who start drinking at the age of 14 or 15 are like 40 times more likely to become alcoholics or addicts than somebody who can wait until they're in their 20s. The three areas are, first of all, genetics. Second area is the environment, the family environment, things that you experience as you grow older. And the third, and that's the main one, that's what forms your personality. That's who you are, and that's who you see yourself as. And the third area is not to put the chemicals into your system while you're really young, because if you're predisposed, you're going to immediately get caught up and probably become addicted at a very, very early age. So we want to put that off as long as we possibly can. No two brains are the same. Different drugs affect different brains in different ways. That's all the thing we can say.